we brought up the Utah tragedy. Geez, that is Craig Robertson, who was 75 years old. 75. Yes, he said threatening things about the president and should not have. And the Secret Service should have showed up at his door and arrested him for it. Deal with it that way. You didn't need to send an FBI kill squad to shoot the guy dead. Of course, when you're doing the flashbangs, and you got the tank outside his house, and you got 30 FBI agents hiding behind the tank from this 75-year-old man inside who can barely move.
It's almost as if now he's
they
armed.
Wanted to kill him.
He's armed. He's got weapons. He's talked about it. They talked to him prior, right, in February or something, right? They talked about talking to him at one time. Prior to this,
in March, I think.
They were talking he's said threatening things on Facebook, and he's mad at Biden. And
who isn't?
No,
join the club.
I know.
Are they going to show up at my house? Because I talk about Biden every day. I don't, threaten him, but I say some of the same things this guy said. Let me see.
It's kind of interesting.
It's
kind of interesting.
Interesting. But he called him a buffoon.
Whatever that word comes from. That word comes from.
The buffoon in chief is what he called him. Called him a lying idiot. If I had $1 for every time I'd be a millionaire for every time I've called Biden a lying. He is a lying idiot. He is.
Clearly. That's a proven fact.
So, I mean, you just can't threaten the president.
Correct. And I understand that. But it's almost as if they knew that by breaking down the door with their warrant,
that they could get what they wanted. The guy would go for his gun.
Reach for his weapon.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I think we have the video from the neighbor. There was a neighbor that filmed some of this from across the street. You see the SWAT teams or the FBI team there. Look at that, really hiding behind that armored truck.
Are we really doing this with this guy?
Yeah, listen to him screaming in the background. You can hear him. And then in a moment, you're going to see the flashbang. There it is. Grenade goes off, and then they filled him full of lead, dragged him out in the street, and dumped him. Left him there for 2 to 3 hours to bleed out. Really,
that's
horrific.
I mean, horrific. You just leaving him bleed out on the curb?
Yeah, and left him there.
What could happen to you?
I understand, like 2 or even 3 hours. What is that? A warning to everybody?
Yeah, I guess so.
This is what happens to you. You threaten this president. You talk this way about this president. This is how you're going to wind up. Is that the message to the rest of us?
Message received.
Yeah, got your message. You can stick it up your rectal cavity. But we got the message. Jeez. I don't know.
It's sad all the way around.
It is.
It's sad all the way around because
it didn't have to happen.
Because I know that we have to take those things seriously. But on the other hand, do we honestly believe that this 75-year-old man is going to traverse down to wherever Joe Biden is?
He was not going to drive to Salt Lake City and shoot the president. He was not going to do that. But here's what the family said. The family released a statement. The Craig Robertson we knew was a kind and generous man who was always willing to assist another in need, even when advanced age, limited mobility, and other physical challenges made it more difficult and painful for him to do so. He often used his expert woodworking skills to craft beautiful and creative items for others, including toys such as sleighs, rocking horses, and bubblegum dispensers for the children of neighbors and friends at Christmas time. He was active in his local church congregation, loved the Lord Jesus Christ with all his heart. He was a devoted dog lover all his life, and he lavished his animals with love and affection. He was a lover of history and an avid reader of every kind of book. In his younger years, he was a sportsman and hunter. He was a firearm enthusiast, pretty clear, collector and gunsmith who staunchly supported the constitutionally protected right to keep and bear arms for the purposes of providing food and protection for his family and home. read kook to the Biden administration, though.
Right.
That's how they'll read that. As a safety inspector in the steel industry, he worked diligently and conscientiously to safeguard the lives and well-being of untold thousands who would use and benefit from the numerous industrial and public works projects he was responsible for during the course of a decades-long career. Craig loved this country with all his heart. He saw it as a God-inspired and God-blessed land of liberty. He was understandably frustrated and distraught by the present and ongoing erosions to our constitutionally protected freedoms and the rights of free citizens wrought by what he and many others in this nation observed to be a corrupt and overreaching government. Yeah. As an elderly and largely homebound man, there was very little he could do but exercise his First Amendment right to free speech and voice his protest in what has become the public square of our age, the internet and social media. Though his statements were intemperate at times.
That's a good shot right there. Intemperate at times. I like that.
He has never and would never commit any act of violence against another human being over a political or philosophical disagreement.
Right. Plus, he loves his country, so he knows
Right.
he's the guy that's the president of the United States. I can not like him. He's still the president.
Yes. Yeah, you just can't threaten him.
You can't threaten him. And, what the funny thing is, Pat, is that, this guy was saying stuff against Biden. And we had to arrest him. We had to question him. We had to break him down. Well, there's we have a whole montage of people threatening Orange Man.
Oh, my
Donald
gosh.
Trump.
That's for sure.
Are we going to go after these people?
I don't know why there aren't uprisings all over the country, and maybe there will be.
People need to start taking to the streets. This is a dictator.
There needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
Enemies of the state.
Show me where it says that protests are supposed to be polite and peaceful.
Do something about your dad's immigration practices, you feckless.
When they go low, we kick.
How do you resist the temptation to run up and wring her neck?
The biggest terror threat in this country is white men, most of them radicalized up to the right.
Why? Yes. He got on the escalator and called Mexicans rapists and murderers. He said, well, what do you think I should have done? I said, I think you should have punched him in the face and then gotten out of the race. You would have been a hero.
I'd like to punch him in the face. I said if we were in high school, I'd take him behind the gym and beat the hell out of him.
Punch some people in the face!
When was the last time an actor assassinated a president?
They're still going to have to go out and put a bullet in Donald Trump, and that's a fact.
Oh, my. Wow.
That's what's fine.
Then you had
Don't worry about
what's her face cutting his head off and holding it.
Oh, yeah.
The dripping with blood.
Yeah.
Yeah. Jeez. What was her name?
That was for comedy, though.
Yeah. Kathy Griffin.
That's for comedy, though. Comedy.
Oh, that's right. Madonna said, what was it she said?
Yeah, wasn't that in that one?
Explode the White House.
Yeah. I don't know if that was in that one, but
not a problem. Don't worry about it.
Not a problem.
Don't worry about it. None of that mattered. Did the FBI SWAT unit show up at any of their homes? Shoot them dead? I don't think so. I think many of those people are still alive, if not all.